All right, let's dive in. Think about this. Getting energy from sunshine. Okay, standard stuff. But what about getting energy from rain?
Yeah, from those cloudy, stormy days where solar panels usually, just sit there not doing much.
Exactly. That's the really interesting tech we're looking at today, that based on the sources you sent over, this hybrid idea, sun and rain power, and especially how it might work somewhere like Alabama.
Uh-huh. And the core idea is tackling that big solar challenge,
Yeah.
intermittency. No sun, no power. This tries to fill that gap.
Right. So it's standard solar panels, the PV ones, combined with something else for the rain.
Exactly. Combined with something called triboelectric nanogenerators, TNGs, they're short.
10Gs. Okay. Triboelectric nanogenerators.
Yeah.
How do they actually get power from a raindrop hitting a surface? Sounds tiny.
It is tiny per drop, but it works. It's about capturing the physical movement, the mechanical energy. When a raindrop hits a specially designed surface, it causes like friction and a brief contact and separation. This generates a small electrical charge through contact electrification and induction.
So the impact itself creates a little zap of electricity. Interesting. And the sources mention some specific ways they're doing this.
They did. One way is using special coatings, like CFX, on newer solar cells, like perovskites.
Okay, CFX.
It's a waterproof coating, which is vital for protecting those cells, especially somewhere humid, but it also acts as the surface for this triboelectric effect, so it generates power from the rain hitting it.
Ah, clever. Killing two birds with one stone.
Sort of, yeah.
Mhm.
And another source talked about polymer layers that produced, let's see, a peak voltage of 2.14 volts just from simulated raindrops.
2.14 volts. Okay, that doesn't sound like a lot on its own, but it proves the concept works, right?
Exactly, shows the potential. And maybe even more important, the sources mentioned how these hybrid setups perform better in low light.
Ooh, how so?
Well, integrating the TENS with the solar cells seems to boost the overall energy collected, especially when it's dim or cloudy. One source cited a 16.9% efficiency improvement in low light.
Wow, okay. So it's not just about adding a bit of power during the downpour. It might actually make the panel work better overall on gloomy days, too.
That seems to be the idea. Plus, you're directly harvesting that kinetic energy from the rain itself. They mentioned power densities like 1.72 watts per square meter per droplet impact.
Which, again, sounds small for one drop, but over a whole roof in a rain shower.
It could add up to something useful, especially when the sun isn't out.
Okay, the tech sounds really promising, if still developing. Let's talk Alabama. Why focus there? What's special about its situation?
Well, the climate seems almost tailor-made for this, doesn't it? You get a good amount of sun, about 213 sunny days,
Right.
but you also get significant rainfall, around 56 inches a year on average. That makes a dual sun and rain system potentially very effective there.
Makes sense. But the sources also painted a picture of, well, some challenges for new energy tech in Alabama, right? Even with big factories like First Solar setting up.
Yeah, it's complicated. Large-scale solar is growing, but for homeowners, rooftop solar faces some definite headwinds.
Like what?
Big one is policy. The sources mentioned the Tennessee Valley Authority, the TVA, eliminating net metering in parts of northern Alabama. That really cuts into the financial benefit of sending extra solar power back to the grid.
Ah, okay. So it takes much longer to pay off your panels.
Much longer. We're talking 15 to 25 years payback, according to the sources. Plus, there's a lack of state tax credits, high fees to connect sometimes, and permitting can be tricky in places.
So it sounds tough for regular solar, but does that maybe make these hybrid systems, maybe even off-grid ones, more attractive?
That's the interesting twist, yeah. If grid connection is less rewarding financially, then systems that make you more energy independent suddenly look, well, more appealing, bypassing some of those utility issues.
Got it. What about just the physical challenges? Making these panels last, especially with rain constantly hitting them.
Durability is definitely key. The tan layers, any sensitive cells like perovskites, they need to be tough, especially in humid, stormy weather. Those coatings, like the CFX we mentioned, become really important.
And storage. You'd need batteries, right? For when it's neither sunny nor raining.
Absolutely. You need energy storage, like lithium-ion batteries, to smooth things out. And the sources note that's a big cost factor, adding maybe $20,000 to $30,000 for a home battery system.
Oof, okay. So cost and durability are big technical hurdles. Are there any current examples in Alabama showing how solar and water systems are being thought about together, even without the rain power part yet?
The sources mention the UAB Solar House Microgrid, University of Alabama at Birmingham. It uses standard solar and batteries, but it also has things like a big rainwater cistern for irrigation.
Ah, so they're already linking water management and solar energy infrastructure.
Exactly. It shows that kind of integrated thinking is already happening locally. It's like a template you could potentially add rain harvesting tech onto later.
Okay, so the need and some foundational ideas are there. What's the outlook then? What needs to happen for this tech to really take off in Alabama or anywhere?
Well, on the tech side, researchers are looking at new materials, maybe graphene, and better designs like spherical tange to catch rain from different angles. But scaling it up needs industry involvement, maybe companies like First Solar.
And on the policy side.
That seems critical based on the sources. Things like bringing back meaningful net metering, adding state-level incentives or tax credits, and maybe funding some pilot projects to test these hybrid systems in Alabama's specific climate.
So it's this mix. Really exciting technology, a climate that could be perfect for it, but also some real policy and cost barriers that need to be addressed.
That sums it up pretty well. Lots of potential, but it needs the right environment, economically and regulatory-wise, to really grow.
It definitely leaves you thinking, though. What if those rainy, gray days we usually see as unproductive for solar could actually become valuable energy generating days, too? Imagine what that could mean for how different regions with different weather patterns could power themselves in the future. Really changes the map, potentially.